Starship Flight 12 is launching today. Seriously, no Photoshop, no fake countdown timer from a random YouTube thumbnail. After 7 months and 8 days of non-stop preparation, SpaceX is finally ready to launch B-19 and S-39 on the very first flight of the brand new Starship V3. And now the countdown is officially live. We are just hours away from what could become one of the most important launches in SpaceX history. And I bet Starbase probably feels like the final battle scene in an Avengers movie right now. Everyone is stressed. Everyone is exhausted. And somewhere in the back, Elon Musk is probably sleeping for 4 minutes and calling it recovery. So let's dive into everything happening at Starbase right now. Yesterday's wet dress rehearsal was one of the strangest tests SpaceX has ever performed. And somehow, that might actually be a good thing. A very good thing. It was the kind of day that had Starship fans glued to their screens for hours. Productivity worldwide probably dropped by at least 12%, because the second wet dress rehearsal for Flight 12 did not look normal at all. This test was supposed to be the final major checkpoint before launch, the moment where SpaceX fully loads the vehicle with cryogenic propellant and simulates nearly the entire countdown process. It's like when you turn your PC on before a massive gaming tournament and pray Windows does not suddenly decides it needs an update. Beach closures went active at 6 in the morning local. That is standard procedure whenever SpaceX handles propellant operations, and for good reason. The test involves loading thousands of tons of liquid oxygen and liquid methane into the rocket. These are not substances you casually stand next to while eating tacos on the beach. Operations officially began shortly after 10 a.m. The giant Mechazilla chopstick arms slowly lifted into their elevated position near the top of the tower. That alone already looked intimidating, like 2 gigantic robotic arms preparing to assemble a Gundam. Then propellant loading began. Cryogenic fuel started flowing into both B-19 and S-39. Engine chill procedures started running simultaneously. Everything initially looked completely normal until people noticed something weird. Frost patterns on the tanks looked incomplete. Only about half of B-19's liquid oxygen tank appeared frosted. Its methane tank looked only partially loaded too. S-39 showed similar behavior. Neither stage appeared anywhere close to a full propellant load. Then suddenly, without warning, the entire sequence stopped. The vehicles began detanking. Propellant vented out. The chopsticks lowered, the SQD arm retracted and reconnected, and immediately the internet did what the internet always does: panic. People instantly started asking the big questions. Did SpaceX abort the test? But once you step back and look carefully at everything that happened, the answer is likely no. In fact, all signs point toward this being a completely intentional partial fill test. And honestly, it was actually pretty ingenious. And here's why. First off, the water deluge system activated exactly as planned. The QD arm sequence also executed perfectly. Those are not random emergency actions. They are scripted procedures. Second, no launch delay was announced afterward. That is huge. If something serious had gone wrong, the launch schedule would have shifted almost immediately. Instead, everything stayed on track. The beach closures remained the same. SpaceX's launch timeline remained the same. Most importantly, S-39's transport stand never returned to the pad. That strongly suggests the ship itself had no major issue requiring rollback or inspection. Then there's the logistics side of this. A full WDR consumes a gigantic amount of propellant. Refilling the tank farm afterward requires over 30 tanker truck deliveries. That process alone can take nearly half a day. With the launch window already approaching fast, SpaceX likely made a calculated decision. Get the data you need, skip the unnecessary extra steps, preserve the launch schedule, move forward. And I've gotta say, that sounds exactly like SpaceX. Fast, aggressive, efficient, slightly terrifying. So as of right now, B-19 and S-39 remain fully stacked on the launch mount. The countdown continues and all signs point toward launch today. Flight 12 is targeting liftoff on Thursday, May 21st. The launch window opens at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. This is it. History is about to happen. Drop a Go V3 in the comments if you're ready for this thing to fly. But before launch actually happens, there's something fascinating about the timing of this mission. SpaceX deliberately chose May 21st, and this date already carries historical significance. Exactly 3 years ago on the 21st, a Falcon 9 launched the Axiom Mission 2 crew to the International Space Station. Back then, private crewed missions still felt revolutionary. The idea of a commercial company independently flying humans to orbit sounded almost surreal. Now look at where we are. 3 years later, SpaceX is preparing to launch the largest and most powerful rocket ever built. But it's not just another rocket, is it? Starship V3 represents the configuration SpaceX believes can eventually return humans to the moon, and eventually send them to Mars. That is why Flight 12 matters so much. This is not just another incremental test. This is the debut of the version SpaceX actually intends to operationalize. And the hardware for this mission is wild. The flight uses B-19 and S-39, launching from the brand new Pad 2 at Starbase. And Pad 2 itself represents a massive philosophical shift. Everything about it was designed around one obsession: speed. The entire launch complex is optimized for faster turnaround and higher launch cadence. The Mechazilla catch arms are shorter and faster. The fueling systems are dramatically upgraded, and the pad can now load the equivalent propellant mass of roughly 11 Falcon 9 rockets in under 39 minutes. That sentence alone sounds like fake news, like somebody accidentally typed a cheat code into reality. And powering this entire monster is the Raptor 3 engine, the engine that made the aerospace industry collectively stop and stare. When people first saw Raptor 3, many assumed the engine looked unfinished, like Tory Bruno, because most of the external plumbing and shielding had disappeared. It looked almost too clean, too minimal, like IKEA designed their own rocket engine. But that simplicity is intentional. Fewer parts means fewer failure points. Lower mass means more performance. And easier manufacturing means faster production. Each Raptor 3 engine can produce up to 250 metric tons of thrust. And Booster 19 has 33 of them. Together, they generate enough force to make Saturn V look like it skipped leg day. The ascent profile for Flight 12 is also much more aggressive than previous flights. Starship will hit max Q, the moment of peak aerodynamic stress, just 45 seconds after liftoff. That is 17 seconds earlier than Flight 11. The entire ascent phase is expected to complete nearly a minute faster than before. This vehicle is moving into an entirely new performance regime. And yet, despite all that power, Flight 12 is still technically a suborbital mission, because SpaceX is trying very hard not to accidentally speedrun catastrophe. The trajectory for this flight is angled 28 degrees farther south than previous missions. S-39 will travel across the globe before splashing down in the Indian Ocean near Western Australia. And there is one specifically fascinating experiment on board. For the first time ever, cameras are mounted on the Starlink satellite mock-ups inside the payload bay. Those cameras point directly back toward the underside of the ship. The goal is to capture footage of the heat shield tiles while Starship is still in space. That is an enormous deal, because until now, inspecting the tiles meant waiting until after re-entry. This time, SpaceX wants direct visual confirmation before the vehicle even returns, which is kind of like checking your pizza before taking it out of the oven. Meanwhile, B-19 will not attempt a tower catch. Instead, it'll perform a controlled splashdown in the ocean, and that decision is extremely deliberate. Flight 12 introduces major upgrades to the booster's control systems. The grid fins are now 50% larger. There are only 3 of them instead of 4, and the hydraulic systems have been replaced with electric actuation. Those are massive changes. So SpaceX wants to validate everything safely over the ocean before risking the brand new Pad 2, which is honestly a pretty reasonable approach when your rocket is roughly the size of a skyscraper. But Flight 12 feels different for another reason. Just a day before launch, SpaceX shocked the financial world. For the first time in 24 years, the company opened its books to the public through a 277-page SEC filing. And the numbers were staggering. In 2025, SpaceX generated $18.7 billion in revenue, but it also posted nearly $5 billion in losses. Since its founding, the company has accumulated more than $41 billion in total losses, which sounds alarming until you realize SpaceX is essentially running three giant businesses at once, and only one is truly profitable right now, and that is Starlink. The satellite internet division generated $11.4 billion in revenue and $4.42 billion in operating income during 2025. It now serves more than 10 million users across 164 countries. And with nearly 9,600 satellites in orbit, SpaceX controls roughly 75% of all active maneuverable satellites around Earth, which is such a crazy number. It sounds like someone forgot to balance the game. Meanwhile, the rocket division brought in $4.09 billion in revenue, but still lost about $657 million, mostly because SpaceX spent nearly $3 billion developing Starship in 2025 alone. Then things get even wackier with AI. Earlier this year, Musk folded XAI, Grok, and X into SpaceX. That segment generated $3.2 billion in revenue and somehow lost more than $6.3 billion in a year. The filing also revealed massive spending across the Musk ecosystem, including Tesla Cybertrucks and Megapack systems. At this point, the corporate structure probably looks like a Marvel multiverse diagram. Yet, despite all of that spending, SpaceX is still pushing toward what could become the largest IPO in history. The company is targeting $1.75 trillion in valuation and hopes to begin trading on NASDAQ as early as the 12th of June. But investors are asking one major question. If Starlink is the only profitable division, how long can everything else keep burning cash? And that's exactly why Starship matters so much. Starship is no longer just a rocket, it's the core of SpaceX's entire long-term strategy.